I just did a video on my channel for 5 of my favorite spots to bank fish on Lake Wateree, so I figured I would do it on one of my favorite spots to bank fish for catfish, Lake Marion. Lake Marion is definitely known in the catfish community for producing trophy-sized catfish, so figured I would show a few of my favorite spots to fish. So let's get in the video. All right, let's take a look at one of my favorite spots on Lake Marion to bank fish. It was the first place that was recommended to me when I first moved to South Carolina, and that's Pax Landing. Pax Landing is located off of 9890 Pax Landing Road in Pinewood, South Carolina. It has 2 large boat ramps and a decent sized bait and tackle, which you can find both cold drinks, food, sometimes hot food. It has 2 large live bait tanks located outside. Typically you can find blue heron and small shad to use as live bait. However, during the hot summer months, sometimes they're unable to keep them live, so they don't carry them. However, I've always been able to find large frozen shad in their freezers. They have a large dock that cuts through the wood, comes out through the woods and comes out to a point outside of the cove. When I first moved to South Carolina, the dock was barely standing and it was pretty crappy. It maybe fished two people max, and you had to jump a large gap in order to get to the dock. However, I think it was last year, I guess it burnt down randomly and the state rebuilt it. Now it's huge, it has multiple pole holders and can fish quite a few people. I strongly recommend that if you plan on fishing Pax Landing and you've never been there, it is a little bit of a walk. So if you have multiple poles and a large amount of tackle like I do, bring some sort of a cart in order to facilitate getting there in one trip and not having to take multiple trips. I also recommend if you fish late in the evening to the night, you bring some sort of a headlamp or light source and a lot of bug spray. But it is a great spot. Landing. Randolphs Landing is located on 122 Randolphs Landing Way in Manning, South Carolina. The private lake landing is located at the north end of Lake Marion Dam. It's a pretty decent place to fish. It has plenty of spots to set up. It's got a large dock with multiple pole holders and then long shoreline on both sides of the dock made up of sand. So it's really easy to put pole holders into the ground to set up multiple poles. It does have a small bait and tackle shop that I've only been in once or twice. It does carry small drinks, snacks, and then I'm unsure if they do have bait in there, but I believe so. I believe they have an indoor bait tank, but I'm not positive. But it is a decent spot to fish, and I do go down there from time to time. All right, Elliotts Landing, located at 2010 Elliotts Landing Road in Pinewood, South Carolina, just a few miles south of Pax Landing. It has a 300-foot fishing pier and a boat ramp, a small shoreline just next to the fishing pier. It is small. You can set up a couple poles, but most people there can be fishing off the fishing pier. It has a small bait and tackle shop located on site where you can find frozen shad and then snacks and drinks. Alright, this spot I probably don't need to talk too much. It's widely known, and that's Santee Cooper State Park. There's awesome and abundant places to bank fish from the park. Typically, I bank fish from the fishing pier just behind the main office. There is a small fee. I think for adults it's $3, and then kids it's $1. But it's an awesome spot. There's also cabins and campsites if you want to stay the weekend or overnight. But I don't know too much about that, since I usually just drive there in the evenings, fish overnight, and leave. But it's a great spot with a countless number of places that you can pull off and set up to fish. Alright, Stuffhole Landing, located at 18 Halter Court in Elliotts, South Carolina. It has a small fishing pier and then shoreline, able to facilitate setting up multiple poles on both sides of the fishing pier. And just behind it, you have a restaurant. I've eaten there multiple times while fishing, and it's actually pretty good. Alright, this is one of those spots that I found on accident, and it's the Palmetto Trail Lake Marion Passage Trailhead, located on State Road South 14-230, pretty much right underneath the Highway 95 overpass. It is a large sandy bank with large rocks at the end. It does have two overpasses that you can fish between or under, with large pylons that tend to attract large catfish. I've caught a lot of catfish at this spot. There is a couple places where if you want to build a fire at night, you can. However, the only issue that I've ever had with this spot is a lot of trash. Fishermen tend to leave a lot of trash at this spot. I'm not sure if it's fishermen or not. I just assume. But typically if I go there, I bring a couple trash bags and I'll leave with them full. Alright, those are a couple of my favorite spots to bank fish on Lake Marion. There is a ton of spots to bank fish. Lake Marion is huge. However, it's important to me that before I recommend a spot, that I actually have experience fishing there. So, being military, I tend to move around a lot, and it's always somewhat difficult when you move to a new state, finding good bank fishing spots in the area. And when I first looked on YouTube, I saw a lot of videos, but mainly they were of boaters fishing from a boat. And boat prices are so expensive that it's just not realistic for a lot of us. So I figured I would just make a short video of some of the spots that I frequently bank fish from on Lake Marion. And I will probably update this video after the catfishing season's over, right before I get into hunting. So I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, leave me recommendations on maybe what you would like to see, and then any pointers you may have, because again, I am new at this and I'm new at video editing. So any comments are appreciative, good or bad. Let me know if you didn't like something. Thank you.